Hello everyone, today I'm working on this lifelike F7. So it's seen better days. It still has all its ladders though. It's missing the horns and it's missing one coupler. Now I just got this, so I'm not even sure if it runs. So let's put it on the track. So let me just put some power on the track. So that seems to run pretty good actually. Can't complain too much. Whoops. So there's issues with electrical pickup. But I think we're going to be able to save it. Actually runs pretty good. So we're going to give it a good clean and lubrication. Cleaning the wheels is always very important. That should help with the power pickup issues. The shell is held together with two little tabs by the fuel tank. And don't forget the body goes around the coupler, so you have to wiggle that out. Shouldn't be too hard. The shell here is broken here. I'm not going to do anything to that other than treat it gently, because just putting it on and off, moving it around, it will break the glue, whatever glue I put on there. So although it looks pretty clean, I'm going to still clean it with my tap, with some dish soap and my toothbrush. These weights here, they're very important. That's the reason why I like these so much. It's because they're heavy and they can pull many cars. So you really need those. These motors are good. The weak point of this is the gears in here. They take a little bit of power to turn, so we're going to make sure to lubricate these very well. So also while we remove the wheels to clean them, I'm going to be able to put the coupler back. So you can't take the trucks out because they're welded in. So what you need to do, you need to push this pin out. This will give you just a little bit of slack. Enough to remove the side frames. Actually, that's quite a bit of slack, that's good. So now I can remove my side frames. All you gotta do is wiggle them out. Just start with one end, and as they come out, then you can wiggle them out. So I have to bring this closer to the end, and then I can run it through like this. So that allows me access to the side frames and access to the wheels. I think I'm going to do the coupler first. So I'm going to push the bracket that holds the coupler in place. I'm just going to push it out like this. That allows me access to the coupler pocket. Because I like fixing engines, I keep a lot of parts around. The Rapido couplers, they're not too hard to purchase online. Everybody's switching to micro trains, so I also have extra springs. So I'm going to take out a spring for it. Couplers are always hard to do, no matter how you slice it. It takes a lot of patience to get them in. And if you mess up the springs, they kick back and they will fly out. So So that really does take a lot of patience. And just like everybody else, I've had the odd times where my coupler, I got it on perfectly, and then I find out it's upside down. So right now you're looking at the bottom of the side frame, so this little pin has to go on top. Yeah, this is not going to be easy. Just to make things shorter, I'll finish it off camera. So it fought me every step of the way. I finally managed to get it back together. Drop the spring on the floor, drop the coupler on the floor, but now we're good. So now I can put my attention to the wheels. For the wheels, what I do is I wedge my screwdriver under there and I'll pry them out very gently. That's got enough slack. I'm going to come in with a bigger screwdriver. And then I pry on each side just a little bit at a time because I don't want to snap the axles. And then it comes off. There's a little bit of lint here. The two contact strips, I don't work very hard on them. I'll just gently wipe them with my finger, and that's good. I will, however, work on all this lint to get that out. That is unacceptable. Same for this other wheel. It's got a decent amount of lint in there. So that's going to need a lot of cleaning. Also, when you're manipulating the gearbox, this top gear here, it will fall out. That's okay, we'll put it back later when we're done. Now that my wheels are out, I can see there's a lot of lint still in all these gears. So I'm going to take them out. All you have to do is spread the gearbox. That should come out pretty easily. The gearbox, it's stuck in there. Just pressed on, no glue, so that makes it easy. And then you want to be careful not to lose anything. I'm sure you can see there's a lot of hair in there. So that we'll have to remove that. So these gears come out. So we'll take them out very gently. Just one at a time. So I don't lose anything. And then, I don't know if you can see, but this one that just fell out the box, it's got two plastic, I guess they're washers, two plastic washers. So I'm going to be careful not to lose that. And then I have the last axle there. So I'm going to wipe the gearbox with just a rag. That will be enough, I think, to clean it. You can see there's a little bit of over lubrication from the factory. That I'm going to remove most of it like this. But that can stay. It's actually a good lubricant. I don't think that engine's been run all that much. Considering how old it is, I think it's been sitting on the shelf for quite a bit. So I'm gonna clean these one at a time. Yeah, these I don't want to lose. These little washers. So I'm gonna clean these one at a time. And I'm gonna run them with my dish soap under the tap. That should make them look really nice. Now I got my gears all cleaned up. I can work on the wheels. So I like to clean them with my rag. So I just follow the flanges and I turn the wheel like that, then they become squeaky clean. And I do the front and the back. Perfect. These are engines you can still get pretty cheap on eBay. Although I find that during Christmas time, there's a little bit of an increase in price. I mean, it is Christmas. There's a lot more people buying Christmas gifts. That only makes sense. But this one, for example, I got it for 25 bucks plus shipping. So you can still have some fun. Get some good cheap engines that you can enjoy. I actually enjoy running these. Now I'm going to put my gears back in the gearbox. So this one goes the highest. I'm going to put it first. That feels pretty good. And then I'll put the axle. So far so good. Make sure that everything looks good. And then I've got two little idlers. Make sure that they're seated properly. And I got another little idler. Yeah, be careful, these can just fly off. And then the other axle. Now while I have the gearbox open, I'm also going to take a second to lubricate them. So this is the lubrication I'm using, the Label 108. So I put just a little bit. A little bit of this goes a long way. That's all you need. And then I'll bring in the other side of the gearbox together. And scale everything takes a little bit of patience. But it can be done. You just have to take one step at a time. Actually, that looks pretty good. Looks amazing, really. Perfect. Now I can bring my wheels back in. Do you guys watch Daniel Cordapassi? I really enjoy his video. I find he's very professional the way he makes his videos. There's some older stuff with him on TSG Multimedia, another channel, and these are really good videos. So he always reminds me to use my Microtrain's coupler gauge. It has a space right here where you can check your wheel gauge for your engines. So I made them too wide on purpose. So I made it wide on purpose so I can bring him in. So I can bring them in. Now the wheels on these are a little bit too wide. It's on purpose. That gives a chance for the engine to wiggle a little bit on the tracks. it makes it easier for the engine, and there's a little bit less friction. So you want them to have them on the tight side of the coupler gauge, of the wheel gauge. You want it on the tight side, like this. This is perfect. This one needs a little more. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed fine-tuning my stuff. Makes it run better. Before I do the final assembly on this truck, I'm going to look at the little worm gear that's in here in the box. There's a little bit of flash there. I could leave it there, it would run just fine with it, but it just bugs me. So I'm going to remove the box lid that reveals your worm gear. It's decently clean. I'm just going to add a drop of oil. Just one drop, that's good enough. And then I put the box back in. That's good. I'm going to put my my side frames back on. Now that I have my coupler on there. So it's the same thing as before. I just have to wiggle it around the truck. Now that it's on top of everything, I'm going to put it back in place. So it just snaps in there. There we go. Awesome. And then don't forget this little gear. This little gear goes on where you can find the there's a smaller gear side that actually provides reduction for the engine. So the smaller gear side goes where the other gears are. They go together, and you bring it to the front. Now when you bring it up to the tower there, you can line it up properly by moving the wheels. It will help you line it up. So I gave you a white background so you can see what's happening. So you can just line up the gear perfectly, and then you can reintroduce that shaft. So that little shaft also will get some oil. Just a drop, that's good. Then I'll just wiggle that in there till it finds its proper place. Just needs to go just a little bit further. Yeah, that looks real good. So now I'm going to work on the front side. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to push out the little shaft. I don't know if you can see, but on the front side I've got a problem. My wire, my soldering gave out. So I've got to go and resolder that. I'm going to disassemble that front part the same as the back part. Now I've got to go and resolder that, which is a real pain. Not my favorite thing to do. But if I want the satisfaction of having the engine, I have to go through it to make the engine run good. No choice. Now they will also come out. If you try to solder it in the gearbox, it will melt your gearbox and then you're buggered. So you have to remove the contact strip from the gearbox and then solder it and then let it cool down and then put it back. I'm going to use the frame just to hold my gearbox together. Yeah, that top gear there, that can come out. Just to hold the gearbox together, I'm putting it back in its place. So you have to come under here and pry it gently. I much rather work on the split frame engines, although these can be fun to run. So now I've got my contact strips in my hand. I can clean it and get it ready for soldering. It's really hard to do on camera, but I'm going to do my best to show you. And that, as they say, is that. I've cleaned and lubricated it exactly like the other side. Now I can put my contact strip right back in its hole. And that is not my favorite thing to resolder these, but once it's done, it's very satisfying. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to re-gauge my wheels and then put the side frames back. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm going to put my weights back on and then we're going to go try it on the track. So the weights, they have a little route for your wires. So this one, because I resoldered it, I changed the routing a little bit. So I have to be mindful while I put my weight back on that the wire hangs exactly where it was meant to be. It's not so hard, you just have to pay attention to it. I mean, it wants to go there, it just doesn't know it yet. So I won't put the shell back on it now. I'm going to wait until I test it on the track and I'm happy with everything. That takes an extra minute, but it really is worth doing. If your wire gets onto the little drive shaft, then it can slow down your engine, and that won't be as much fun. I'm not having a very easy time grabbing this. So that one's good. That one's almost good. There. Now I'm happy. And I'll put the back one back on. And that's happy. Now I'm gonna go try it on the track. Let's see how it runs. Actually, not bad, not bad. So for that type of an engine, I think that is as good as it's gonna get. So I'm gonna put the shell back on. So here we go. Remember the front coupler just slides in there, and then I'm having a little issue with one of the ladders that's a little bit crooked, so you don't want to use your full strength there. You want to be gentle with this. I mean, if the ladder snaps off, it's not the end of the world, but it's still good to have it. And now it's time to run some trains. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly had fun making it for you. See you soon.